Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Canal Algérie News, and these are the headlines. The President of the Republic, Majid Tebboune, received the Secretary General of the Labour Party, Louisa Hanoun. The President of the Republic offered his condolences on the passing of the artist Beya Bouzar, known as Biyuna, and praised her remarkable career in television and film productions. The Prime Minister was received at the Presidential Palace by the President of the Arab Republic of Egypt, where both sides underscored the need to strengthen bilateral cooperation ahead of the 9th session of the Algerian-Egyptian Joint High Commission. And from Luanda, Algeria focuses on the Africa-EU partnership and concrete priorities, reaffirming the principles of African solutions to African issues. Welcome back. The President of the Republic, Majid Tebboune, received on Tuesday the Secretary General of the Labour Party, Louisa Hanoun. The meeting was attended by Mustafa Saïd, the President's advisor on political affairs and political parties. After the reception, the Secretary General of the Labour Party confirmed that the meeting provided an opportunity to raise a number of economic, political and social issues concerning national affairs as well as several international issues, mainly the Palestinian cause. Let's listen.
إذا في اللقاء هذا اللي جمعني بسيد رئيس الجمهورية اليوم ومثل ما هي العادة.
During my meeting with the President of the Republic, as usual, we review the main national issues, economic, social and political matters. We discuss strengths and weaknesses, the areas that require action, and how to address them to meet the expectations of the Algerian people, such as unemployment, job insecurity, and how institutions can better handle these concerns. We also spoke about political matters, including our party's ongoing priorities, especially the need for measures that can ease tensions and create a calmer climate, given the current regional and global context. Media was another point of discussion, particularly the importance of strengthening political life in our country and ensuring greater openness. We examined the situation sector by sector in depth. Naturally, we also spoke about the Palestinian cause, Algeria's role in supporting it, and the political and material means necessary to continue that support. Finally, we addressed the global and regional situation and the risks it poses, as well as its potential impact on nations and institutions.
The Secretary General of the Labour Party praised the atmosphere of the meeting, during which the new political parties law and preparations for the upcoming legislative elections were discussed. We listen.
في الواقع يعني كان نقاش حر و يعني دون حواجز مثل ما متعودين.
The meeting was open and unrestricted as usual. We discussed the political parties' law, whose revision is nearly complete, especially since we had submitted clear and practical proposals on the matter. We also discussed preparations for the upcoming elections, including the situation of the 11 new provinces. I asked whether, for the first legislative elections in these provinces, civil status and electoral lists would be properly updated so that residents do not find themselves still registered at their old provinces, something that could create disorder. Everything needs to be well organized. We consider the next elections to be fundamentally different from previous ones, given the international, regional and global context and the new challenges. This electoral event comes at a critical time. The President provided many answers to the questions I raised in different areas, as well as to our concerns and to the solution we believe are necessary in certain important economic, social and political matters. As I know, our party always seeks national solutions and rejects any foreign interference. We are committed to protect Algeria's independence and sovereignty, and this is why we insist on presenting national alternatives. The president also offered the necessary clarifications on several files, especially those that, by their nature, aren't accessible to everyone.
Algeria is saddened by the news of the death of renowned actress Baya Bouzar, widely known as Biyuna, on Tuesday. In the wake of her passing, the President of the Republic offered his condolences to her family and the artistic community. The message read as follows. It is with immense sadness that I learnt about the passing of the beloved artist Biyuna. May Allah grant her His holy mercy. Biyuna's death marks the loss of the leading figure in artistic scene, whose talent and creativity enriched numerous television and film productions over the years. The spontaneity and her naturalness of her performance earned her great respect. I extend my sincere condolences to her family as well as to the cultural and artistic community. I assure them of my deepest sympathy and pray Allah to grant her His holy mercy, to welcome her into His vast paradise and grant her loved ones patience and comfort. To Allah we belongs and to Him we shall return. Indeed, the world of cinema and television mourns the loss of the artist Baya Bouzar, known as Biyuna, who passed away this Tuesday at 73 after long illness. A leading figure of Algerian TV and theatre, she leaves a lasting legacy with works like La Grande Maison and several other famous series such as Nazm La City and Alfshoush. Let's look on her journey with Najah Diyar.
Biyuna, born Baya Bouzar in 1952, September 13th, in Algiers, remains one of Algeria's most vibrant and influential artistic figures. Actress, singer, comedian and a dancer, she spent decades shaping the cultural landscape with her unmistakable voice, bold humor and magnetic stage presence. Biyuna's artistic journey began early, performing as a singer and dancer in local troupes. Discovered at 20 by director Mustafa Badia, she landed her first major role in the TV adaptation of La Grande Maison, and from then on, her talent shone across television with more than 27 movies, and theater, also cinema with more than 24 movies, earning her widespread acclaim in hits like the comedy series Nazm La City. Biyuna's contribution to Algerian arts has been widely recognized, including during the National Artist Day. Her unique blend of comedy, music, dramatic depth, and social commentary has inspired countless young artists and continues to resonate with audiences across the Arab world. Beyond her performances, Biyuna is admired for her candor and the courage with which she addresses social issues. She has never hesitated to speak her mind or defend causes close to her heart, a trait that has made her both respected and distinctive in the Algerian artistic community. With a career spanning more than a half-century, this icon stands as a symbol of creativity, resilience, and authenticity, and her work remains a pillar of the Algerian cultural heritage, and her influence endures through every performance, every character, and every song she brought to life. And as the curtains fall, her memory shines brighter than ever.
The Prime Minister Sefi Ghrieb was received this Tuesday at Al Ittihadiyya Presidential Hall in Cairo by the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, to whom he communicated the greetings of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, reaffirming the fraternal ties between both countries and the importance of their bilateral relations in various fields. On his end, the President of Egypt has expressed his highest regards to the President of the Republic, congratulating the constant cooperation between both parties that are united by natural resistance history. He also reiterated respect and high esteem Egypt holds for Algerian government, officials and people. The Prime Minister saluted the historical links uniting both nations and the will of their leaders to seize all bilateral cooperation opportunities that both economies can offer. On the sidelines of the 9th session of the Algerian-Egyptian Joint High Commission, the Minister of Industry and the Minister of Interior, Local Authorities and Transport held bilateral meetings with their Egyptian counterparts, during which they reviewed cooperation and partnership relations and ways to strengthen them. Najah Diyar.
On the sidelines of the 9th session of the High Committee of the two countries, expanded ministerial meetings were held focusing on security coordination. At the heart of the meeting between Algeria's Minister of Interior, local authorities and transport, Said Sayed, and his Egyptian counterpart was an agreement to strengthen the fight against all forms of cross-border crime, enhance cooperation in combating cybercrime, and intensify the exchange of security expertise. In a separate meeting, the Minister of Interior and Local Authorities and Transport, alongside the Minister of Industry, was received by the Egyptian Deputy Prime Minister for Industrial Development and the Ministers of Transport and Industry. Discussions addressed structural development in the transport sector of both countries took place, as well as major strategic projects currently underway to support the growing economic momentum between Algeria and Egypt. During the work of the Joint Ministerial Follow-up Committee, the Minister of Industry, Yahya Bashir, highlighted a clear growth in economic relations, credited to regular high-level meetings with trade exchanges expected to exceed $1.3 billion this year.
ويمثل لقاء مجلس رجال الأعمال المشترك.
Tomorrow in Cairo, the second session of the Joint Business Council represents a shared desire to launch new investment projects based on a win-win approach, bringing benefits to both brotherly countries.
وتعود بالفائدة على البلدين الشقيقين.
As for the Egyptian Minister of Planning, she affirmed that the 9th session reflects a strong political will to strengthen the partnership, highlighting the rise in trade exchanges and the growing interest of the private sector in bilateral cooperation, supported by solid political relations between the two countries.
During the 7th summit of the cooperation and partnership between the African Union and the European Union, the Minister of State, Minister of Foreign Affairs and National Community Abroad and African Affairs, Ahmed Attaf, made a powerful statement regarding a priorities assessment within the African-European partnership in terms of peace and safety, facing the surge in constitutional changes of government and terrorism in Africa. We listen.
Faced with the growing challenges confronting the African continent, it's imperative to reorganize the priorities of the partnership with the European Union. The continent operates within a complex international context, which directly impacts its political and security situation. Four major risks warrant immediate attention: the return of unconstitutional changes of government, the worsening terrorist threat in the Sahel region, the intensification of foreign military interventions, and the decline in international interest in African issues. Furthermore, it's necessary to reorganize the Africa-Europe partnership towards concrete priorities, beginning with ending the international disinterest in peace issues on the continent and reaffirming Africa's diplomatic role as well as the principle of African solutions to African problems. We call for effective investment and development to address the root causes of crisis, and we reiterate the importance of fulfilling the commitments linked to the Global Gateway Initiative. It is important to end the marginalization of Africa within international decision-making structures, which is considered a factor hindering the continent's ability to achieve the 2063 Agenda's goals.
The Minister of State, Minister of Foreign Affairs and National Community Abroad and African Affairs, Ahmed Attaf, met many of his counterparts during the 7th summit of the cooperation and partnership between the African Union and the European Union in Luanda. Menal Boubagra have the details.
On the sidelines of the 7th Summit of Cooperation and Partnership between the African Union and the European Union in Luanda, the Minister of State, Minister of Foreign Affairs, the National Community Abroad and African Affairs, Ahmed Attaf, met with the Tunisian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Migration and the Tunisians abroad. The two ministers welcomed the exceptional level of fraternal relations and cooperation between the two countries before reviewing the preparations underway for the next session of the Algerian-Tunisian Joint High Commission. The meeting also allowed the two parties to exchange views on the developments in Libya. Ahmed Attaf also met with his Portuguese counterpart. The discussions focused on the importance of strengthening the positive momentum in bilateral relations in preparation for the upcoming due dates between the two countries. The two ministers also discussed ways of strengthening the African-European partnership in light of the conclusions of the Luanda summit. Another meeting, this time with the European Union Special Representative for the Sahel-Saharan region, that allowed both parties to exchange views on political, security and economic developments in the Sahel. and to examine prospects to strengthen cooperation aiming to establish security and stability in the area. The Minister of State also held discussions with his Ivorian counterpart. The two sides reviewed bilateral relations and agreed to begin preparations for the next Algerian-Ivorian Joint Commission. Also on the agenda was an exchange of views on the latest developments in the Sahel-Saharan region and the consolidation of coordination between the two member countries of the AU Peace and Security Council.
In the Middle East now, the violence continues in Gaza despite the ceasefire with countless threats and helicopter shooting. Palestinians still struggle with blockade and lack of resources, adding the cold weather. The situation can no longer be tolerated. That was it for tonight. Thank you for watching us. Stay tuned on Canal Algérie. Bye for now.